the caption.
House Bill 196 by Representative Powell of the 33rd and others. A bill to be entitled an act to amend Article 9 of Chapter 12 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to access to medical cannabis. That completes the order, Mr. President.
Senator from the 13th, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I move that the Senate agree to the House substitute to the Senate sub to House Bill 196.
Oh,
Agree as amended, is that what you said? I think it's just agree, Senator. His motion, Senator from the 46, his motion takes precedence of yours. So Senator from 13th, recognize you to speak to the measure. All right, we're gonna have to quiet it down a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna have to quiet it down. Those unauthorized personnel, we're gonna have to ask you to either exit the chambers or try to be respectful of what's going on here.
Thank you, Mr. President.
so silly, Mommy.
Colleagues, before you, you have Senate bill, House bill, and everything is confused. But the reality of it is just look for 196, House Bill 196. Let me tell you about this bill so you know what you'll be voting on and make sure we get it right. House Bill 196 is two bills in one. House bill is the medical cannabis bill, and House bill on page 40 is the hemp bill that we tried to get passed through this chamber that we just got some confusion on. Let me tell you what's going on so you'll know. The House Bill 196 addresses the medical cannabis issue in this state to approach and move the medical cannabis beyond the broken promises that we've been giving people. It is a vehicle to settle the pending legal actions and fulfill it as soon as practical and deliver the medicine to the citizens of Georgia, which has curtailed the suffering on a daily basis. Let me tell you what this bill does as we follow through it. I'm going to hit the high point so we'll know what we're talking about. It abolishes the Cannabis Commission and transfers the function to the Agriculture Department, where the responsibility of an elected official who is accountable to the people of this state can administer this program in an open and transparent manner. Let me say this right now. We have no control over the Cannabis Commission. We give them $1 million+ and they answer to no one. we want to put this to the Agriculture Department, the Commissioner of Agriculture, who is elected by the state of people, who we know will be transparent. Number two, the division of the Agriculture Department will be subject to the Administrative and Procedures Act and Open Records Act. No more secrecy when it comes to business. No more secrecy and unelected bureaucracy. Number three, appeals from the decision of this administration agency will be made to the Georgia Statewide Business Court. That means it moves fast and gets done. A license will be available to have additional transparency at the production facility. That means a licensee can have a license to sell the stuff at the place where they make the darn stuff. A dispensary can sell it and any other licensed facility product at its dispensary. This will help the retail network for our patients and our constituents. A joint and robust oversight committee is established involving many members of various House and Senate committees. The Agriculture Commissioner will mediate with 9 companies that have protested and are currently litigating, which has been held up for about 4.5 years.
Senator, I'm paused. Ladies and gentlemen, I need your attention. We have a senator in the well right now, and he is addressing a pretty serious matter. I need your attention. All authorized personnel, we need you to exit the chamber. Hate to be like this, but I've asked you multiple times now. Senator, floor is yours.
I will start back on my seventh note. The Agriculture will mediate with the 9 companies that have protested and are currently litigating with the Georgia Medical Cannabis Commission. The commissioner would be authorized but not obligated Let me repeat that. Not obligated to issue additional licenses as a resolution to this mediation. If that occurs, litigations will be dropped. This has been going on 4.5 years, folks. I didn't even get here when this started happening. Number 8, the commission will also have the discretion, but not the obligation to issue additional licenses as organic growth in the registry occurs. The maximum number of licenses that a commissioner could issue would be maxed out at 20, which I promise you we won't get there, but he got a max of 20, which will be compared to other states is far lower than any other states with license numbers. But again, the commissioner is not required to give one more license, not one more license. Number 9, the vesting of this discretion of the agriculture commissioner will allow him and his team and experts to ensure a healthy and fair market, which brings this much needed medication to all the Georgia citizens and keeps it affordable. It ensures that Georgia's small business, now hear me now, including minority-owned businesses, are not left out in the cold and they're not forced to close their doors with all the stringent rules and regulations. And let me tell you something, folks. The hemp bill goes on and says you got to be 21 years and older to buy this stuff. Now, right now, any number, whether you're 8, 10, 12, 14, or 15, you can walk in and buy it. We're going to put it on there where you do not you have to be 21 years or older to buy this material. Hear me on this. We need controls of this industry. We need controls. This gives us the controls that we need. It outlines all the medications in here. It outlines all the things that we can treat in here and what it can be transferred to. This bill is a solid bill that came over from the House, and I think it only failed by like 13 votes over there. It's a solid bill that moves this state forward. Folks, we have been promising folks medical cannabis since I don't know how long. It is time for us to get off the pot and deliver. And it's time for us to have a commission, an agriculture mission, take it away from a commission that doesn't answer to us. We're putting the money in, and we have absolutely no say-so in this business. We need to make a change. And I will tell you this, last condition is, we have got to make sure that when we do these things here, we do these things the correct way. Other states have done this. They are succeeding in their message, and they're getting their medication to people. There is no reason Georgia can't be as effective. I ask you to please vote for this bill, pass this bill, move this forward. If we need to tweak this bill, I will gladly be the one to stand up here and tell you we need to tweak this bill. Gladly. And I will do whatever it takes to make sure we get it right. But let me tell you one more thing. This would have been handled a while back, but our previous agriculture commissioner wanted nothing to do with it. And we had absolutely nowhere to go with it. That's where the Cannabis Commission came in. Now we have an agriculture mayor who's one of our own, who's willing to take this on, put the people in place, fix it, make it happen, and deliver on a promise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll live with it well. I'll ask no question. I know we're tired. I know it's a long night. I know the bill's long. You haven't had time to go through it. But I'm asking you to vote green to pass this bill. Mr. President, no question. I yield well.
You do have some questions, Senator.
Yes, sir.
Recognize the senator from the 45th.
Mr. President, I was just wanting to excuse the senator from the 48th at the appropriate time.
Well,
That sounded good to me, Bob.
all right. Well, with no objection, I think he'll be excused. Recognize the senator from the 29th.
Senator Yield.
Yes, sir.
Senator, did I hear you say that this bill expands the opportunity for more licenses in Georgia?
Yes, sir. I said it gives the agriculture commissioner the ability to expand it up to 20 licenses, but he does not have to issue one more license if our registry does not grow.
So, Senator, why would we not wait to see if our registry grows any before we would expand this to 20?
I'll assure you, he will wait and do it. But I will say this to you, Senator. We only have like 25 to 27,000 people on the registry right now because we have been promising people for 4 or 5 years to let them get this medication. The moment this is available, I'll assure you that registry is going to jump up probably into hundreds of thousands, if not close to 1 million or more.
Is it not true? Does Senator continue
Go
to
ahead.
yield? Senator, is it not true that once we make anything available that people are going to line up to get it? Because I do believe, Senator, and correct me if I'm wrong, that when we first passed this legislation, we had a limited number of conditions that this product could be used for, and there have been many attempts to expand those conditions. Is that not true?
Senator, I was not here when y'all first passed this 4.5 years ago. I can't speak to that.
Senator, yield for one last question?
Yes, sir.
Senator, do you know how many Georgians could be treated by 20 licensees?
Well, as you well know, we've said at many committee meetings, we've heard various numbers on that. I'll assure you this right here. From what I know about the industry, it will take more than the 4 or 5 licenses that we have available in Georgia under the current law that we passed to treat what's going on. Because these folks, Mr. Senator, they are not ready to produce medical marijuana because of what it takes to get it to the point from start to finish to fruition. And right now, we need other people in this, and we don't need to let maybe just 4 or 5 people monopolize this. 4 or 5 companies. And most of those companies, except one that I know of, are from Canada and from out of state. This is Georgia grown stuff I'm trying to work with.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. Mr. President, no question. I yield well.
You have one last question. Senator from the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator, my good friend, do you yield?
Appropriations Chairman, absolutely.
Senator, you know, I have a lot of respect for you and I appreciate what you try to do for South Georgia, but how many new licenses could there be?
So I'm sorry, sir. Get him.
How many new licenses could this bill allow?
It will allow up to 20 total, not new licenses, but up to 20. But let me repeat again. The Agriculture Commission has to issue a license, not a new license.
I thought I heard you say that. Will the senator further yield?
Go.
So the agricultural commissioner would have sole discretion as to whether or not to issue a new license?
His board, with senators on the board, with representatives on the board, and members on the board. That's how the Agriculture Commission is going to set it up.
Senator, I guess I won't speak to it. I say the reason that I can't support your bill, agree as amended, is because I think putting that much power with one person is just, you would only do that if you don't really care about them, because even the power that we've had levied on us about gambling in here, marijuana and cannabis is going to be 10 times that. And that power, I am too good of friends and respect the agriculture commissioner enough to put that type of power in such a small few hands. I can't do that to him.
Mr. Chairman, I will respond to that by telling you this. Right now, we have the power resting in a cannabis commission that we have absolutely no control over. We don't know. They don't answer to us. They don't return calls. They don't do anything. And you're, as appropriate chairman, are appropriating money to a cannabis commission that we have absolutely no say-so in. I think that's ludicrous.
Senator, you have a few more questions, but you're welcome to yield the well.
Let's vote on it, Mr. Go ahead. Whatever. I'll take another one.
All right. Senator from the 39th.
Senator, do you yield?
Yes, ma'am.
So it seems to me that we keep coming back to this question of the competitive bids from way back when. We now have 2 licenses that have been issued to production, correct? And I see in here in lines 738 through 741, going back to the fact that the Ag Commissioner, if this bill passes, would have sole discretion to not just provide new licenses, but actually engage in mediation with the applicants that participated in the original competitive applications process. In a normal competitive bidding process, is it not true that you win or you lose, you can sue, and then whatever happens with that, which lawsuits are in process right now, then you either win it or you don't, but you don't then get to come to the front of the line ahead of everybody else when you lost a process.
Senator knows of what she speaks. And I will expand on that, by the way. Under this license, the way this bill is written, if we negotiate with the ones that protested, then that could be settled and we could get on with making the product it needs to be done. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Senator, you have another question, but you're welcome to yield the well anytime, Senator.
I'll take one more. I'm trying.
You got 2 hours until it's midnight, so
I'll yield it.
Sen-
One more. Give me yield it.
probably be wise, Senator.
Thank you, Senators. Please vote for this bill. We got to move this forward. Vote green. Thank you.
I recognize the senator from the 46 to speak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senators, my motion was going to be to disagree so that we could go to conference and see what's in this bill and see if we could resolve our differences in it. I believe I heard the senator from the 13th just say this is 53 pages. I don't know what all's in it, and then went on to say the parts that he did know. We are known as a deliberative body. This is making a mockery of deliberations. You will remember back before crossover day, parts of this bill were on our floor, the hemp bill, and it was such a disaster. It ended up being reconsidered, being tabled, never got out of this chamber. I haven't been able, this has been on our desk literally maybe 2 minutes before it was called up, 3 minutes. I hadn't had a chance to even read it. I can tell looking at it that it adds a whole nother bill on hemp regulation. It also vastly changes the bill that we just passed out of here a couple of days ago. We asked the Department of Agriculture to review the rules, the regulations, the licensing, the usage of medical marijuana to see what was the best path going forward. We don't even know if the Department of Agriculture wants this responsibility yet.
Yes, they do.
We are now destroying, we're abolishing a commission that we established that worked for 4 years and finally issued the licenses, 2 of them who are now up and running and claim they will have the product on the shelves by June, and have tentatively issued the other 4 licenses that are being litigated. And we anticipate that litigation will finish up about the time the Department of Agriculture tells us the best way forward, whether he even wants to license this, engage in it, test all these products, do the different things that might be asked. It seems so unfair to us to just unilaterally now go abolish a commission without any hearings on that, to ever let one member of the commission come testify where they are, what they've done, what they think. This does exactly what the senator from the 39th said. It stops, it circumvents the judicial process, throws all these 9 cases out of court and says, y'all are going to mediation now with the Department of Agriculture. What experience in any other area does the Department of Agriculture have in mediations or rendering decisions? They never got to even consider any of the applications that these 69 companies submitted. And what about the others, 63 of them that didn't litigate? Do they get to come back to the table and be mediated themselves? No, they are out. We punish those people that didn't sue. And we reward the ones that sued, but we don't trust our own court system.
I thought this opens it up to everyone.
That is hearing those cases right now. We say that our Department of Agriculture is more suited to resolve people's disputes than our court system. What are we doing?
In some ways, he
I
is.
don't understand where these ideas came from. But I can tell you this, they never came through our committee process. None of this bill, other than a few aspects of what I'm hearing now, I hadn't had a chance to read on the hemp, came through our committee. We didn't contemplate destroying a commission that we ourselves created just a few years ago and totally replacing them with a department that we hadn't heard from to see if they want to do this regulation.
Senator, I didn't ask you.
Okay. As far as the 20 licenses, let me refresh you. When we passed this bill out a few days ago, we made a point. I'll let you know that the folks that testified in our committee, in the Regulated Industries Committee, the 2 Type 1 licensees and several of the Type 2 licensees were there. And they all agreed that just the 2 Type 1 alone can produce enough low THC oil to treat 600,000 patients.
And charge
And
Norman
it's
a
going to
lick.
be on the shelves this June. The other 4 Class 2 licensees could probably handle the same amount. So we don't need 20 licenses. 6 can produce enough for 1.2 million, some say as many as 2 million patients. And you know how many we have? 26,000. We already have enough production for 20 times the patients that are listed, that are signed up on the registry. So why are we doing this? Why do we think that we as a legislative body are smarter than the court system or smarter than the commission that we appointed? Our own governor and lieutenant governor and speaker appointed these people to the commission to make these decisions. It is crazy. And so all this motion is really doing is either trying to pass out a bill that more than likely ought to be vetoed for being so ill-considered, makes us look like a bunch of clowns in here for passing something out without any deliberation on it at all, and just sticks it to the court system saying we don't trust our own court system to come up with a reasonable resolution to these disputes over the licenses. I urge you to vote no on this motion to agree. And if we're going to do something of this significance, let's do it right. I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. President, or I'll yield the well.
You do have one question. Senator from the 2nd.
Thank you. Does the senator yield?
I do yield.
Senator, I heard your oral arguments here about trusting our
Oral
judicial system. Senator, would you agree that this body, in fact, does not trust our judicial system, and that's why we have passed so many mandatory minimums to tie the hands of those judges making those decisions? And in fact, that means we do not trust those judges?
Touche on that we want to make certain that they see the significance of the crimes the way we do. And that's why we give the boundaries, the minimums and the maximums for the penalty, and leave them to decide there in between.
Senator, you have no further questions.
Thank you. I yield the well.
Senator from the 31st, what purpose you rise?
Mr. President, appropriate time, I'd like to make a motion.
You'd like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to table HB 196.
The motion is in order. Is there objection?
Objection.
All those in favor of the motion will vote yea. All opposed, no. Secretary, unlock the machine.
There was an objection. He didn't call on it. There was an objection. Can you guys hear me? Exactly. Kitty cat, are you coming back? Come on up, baby. Come on up, honey. She's tired of it.
The awakened one, you are correct.
On the motion to table, the yeas are 22 and the nays are 30, and the motion has failed.
Well,
So
yeah,
will
we could
continue
hear
debate.
like
I
the
recognize
30
Senator
objections
from the
welling into
37th.
them.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate, the hour is late, but I do want to remind us of something and caution this body on the proposition before us. As the senator from the 46 so clearly said, we've got a bill of 54 pages, over 1,300 lines that's not been through the committee process in this deliberative chamber. But what we have heard in the debate tonight is the discussion of concentrating in the Agricultural Commissioner the power to take from 6 or so licenses and expand up to 20 licenses. Now, when you think about this, you think about our state of Georgia, we recognize agriculture is the #1 industry in our state. We lead in peanuts and blueberries, big in cotton. We can go through all the poultry industry here. The importance of our agriculture commissioner is really hard to really capture in the state of Georgia. What I'm concerned about here is what the gentleman from the senator from the 19th alluded to in his question is what we're doing by concentrating power in the agriculture commissioners. This proposal would suggest that we do is we would take an agricultural commissioner role, which is an important statewide position, and we would create incentives for the marijuana industry to put their person in that job. Now, the former senator from the 7th, who's our current agriculture commissioner, served in this body, served very credibly, has an expertise, as we well know, in what we recognize as traditional agriculture. Many of you here, that's your main livelihood. But if we vest this power in the agriculture commissioner, we're no longer going to have an agriculture commissioner. The money that's going to rush into the statewide race of agriculture commissioner to win the prize, of taking this seat, will take the seat, which is now the agriculture commissioner, and turn it into what will effectively be the marijuana commissioner. I don't think we want the millions of dollars that would rush into statewide elections around this commissioner to be driven by marijuana interests instead of agriculture interests. Agriculture is the industry that our state was founded on.
Yeah.
It's what brought us to the dance.
He's saying it right.
And I think it's way, way, way too important to our state to create incentives that the marijuana candidates could wash aside all the folks who really know ag. Think about our previous 2 agriculture commissioners and how they contributed and are contributing such a powerful way. I think this proposal, which is put before us tonight at this very late hour, is not only hasty but dangerous.
Oh, I thought he.
And I'd ask members to vote no on this this version of House Bill 196. Be glad to take questions, Mr. President.
You do have a question, Senator. Senator from the 2nd.
Does the senator yield?
Yes, sir.
Senator, since we've been in session, we've had a litany of bills that have been offered to amendments of other bills and asked the chair for a ruling on the germaneness of that bill. So is it not true that it is, in fact, a practice of this body to move massive amounts of legislation at such a late hour? Is that not true?
Well, I would tell you, as a deliberative body, I think we should all be cautioned to the extent that happens. And I think when we've got something like this, that the dollars that are in play are as big as they are, that something as important as our agriculture industry and the leader of our industry is going to be subject to millions of dollars of out-of-state marijuana investment to win the prize of what would effectively become a marijuana commissioner. I think this body would be wise to reject this proposal. And with that, Mr. President, I'll yield the will.
Senators yielded well. I recognize the senator from the 19th.
Members, thank you for letting me speak on this, on House Bill 196. I try to only come to the well when I think it's important. an issue like the budget, or an issue I think is going to affect something constitutionally. This is one of those issues. What this bill allows is 20 additional licenses. And I heard my friend from the 13th say, no, it's only if he gives them. Really? What do you think the pressure is going to be on that individual? Which, if you look, it's only been on your desk for 30 minutes, but if you take a look and read it really carefully and you decide you want to flip yourself to about page 16, I didn't get to write down the page numbers because it hadn't been there long enough. You'll see that it's based with one person, not a board, one person. It's a bill we've debated for years, and I've heard the argument now that this gets it out to people. Well, we've already got 2 licenses getting it out to people. That process is working, and I'll tell you, I'm the first to tell you that I've had issues with the Cannabis Commission. Our body has struck their budget. We have worked to try to make that better, and we now have 2 licenses working. So why should you take this bill as seriously as you take other measures when we speak here? Let's use 2 scenarios. One, do you not like the agricultural commissioner? Do you not like him? If you don't like the agricultural commissioner, you should vote no to this bill because this gives him extreme power. He can pick the licensees. He decides if they're going to get a license. If you don't like him, you shouldn't vote for this bill. The second group of people who should vote against this bill are the people who like the agriculture commissioner. And here's why. You're about to give him incredible pressure. You felt the pressure that this building's had on things like gambling and casinos and horse racing. And you felt those pressures on you. And you've had to make your decision. If you do not think the money in this industry is 10 times that weight, you've never been in this building. And we got to disperse that weight and that pressure over 56 of us. You're about to put that weight and that pressure on one person. That's not fair to them. So what I ask, if you're in the category that doesn't like the commissioner, you vote no. And if you're in the category that likes the commissioner, you should vote no too. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the will.
Recognize the senator from the 16th.
Thank you, Mr. President. I look at a bill like this, I wonder how we go back to our constituents and say we had it on our desk, a major bill we had less than 30 minutes to even look at that's not gone through the committee process. How can we say that to our people that trust us to make wise decisions and to rush into something like this?
So sad.
What the senator from the 19th said, we take it from a commission to one person. That is not responsible. I believe we need to say no to this right now. We need to hold with it and take the time to do it properly and not rush through something of this magnitude that has implications to our children, to our families. And if you've got 2 units that can already do 600,000, that's $1.2 million in my math. I think we need to walk carefully through this bill and not vote on it tonight and say no to it and work through it. That's my portion.
They're going to have to open up a special session.
Senator's yielded well. Recognize the senator from the 47th.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, one of the things that for me, I want to let everybody in here know, I'm adamantly opposed to the use of recreational marijuana. I think it would be a terrible thing because it would open up the courts for all kind of litigation and stop our business in our community.
It'll
At the
smell.
same token,
Good.
I've been pushing for years to try to get the medicinal use of marijuana or some byproduct of it for years. And I know that we've got a lot of new people that have changed faces in here since the little over 4 years ago. But some of y'all that are in the Republican caucus, I know for sure, and probably some of y'all in the Democrat caucus, because I'm willing to bet he went to both caucuses. Said, but Governor Deal came to us on the last day that we were in legislature in session, his last year that he was governor. I believe that would have been like 2019 or something. And he talked about his business partner and friend that's wife had terrible seizures, had seizures for years and years and years. They had means. They went to all kinds of medical facilities. They checked everything they could do. Eventually, somebody told them, they said, hey, why don't you go try this in Colorado? And took the oil from Cannabis and came back and never had any migraines from that point forward. And for me, I'm not a doctor. I was terrible in biology and chemistry. But we passed the legislation that day to help put this oil out there for people. We created a commission. We created a bureaucracy, unfortunately, and it seems to be that way. And I will tell you, I'm not a lawyer, but there's a lot of lawyers involved in this. Our ag commissioner, my fraternity brother, my former suite mate, supports this, said going to him. He can withstand the pressure of whatever it takes. For me, I'm going to ask each of y'all to help give some relief to those people that need relief. We know it's a situation where we can't import it from another state, but it's something that we need to be able to provide to those people that need it medically here in Georgia. And I want to try to help them get that relief and get that done. So I'll ask you to vote in favor of this bill, whatever it takes for us to get production. The bureaucracies that we've been dealing with are holding back those people that need help. So I'll ask you to vote green on this bill. Thank you.
Senators yield. I recognize the senator from the 30th.
I think you should all vote rainbow. Yay, somewhere over the rainbow.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be quick because how seriously can you take somebody wearing a seersucker suit and a pink bow tie? Hey, like 6 times medical marijuana has come for this body since I've been here. 6 times I have voted in favor of, because I look at the challenges we've had with the kids, with adults with debilitating diseases, and I have said, let's do everything we can to help support those. This will not be the 7th time. I will vote no on this bill. The commission that set up the Cannabis Commission, they were terrible. They were probably one of the most disorganized entities that we've ever had. But what we don't want to do is compound the problem by rushing through a bad piece of legislation right here. And I understand, for those of you saying, let's get the product out. Remember, we are getting the product out. There is product coming out on this. We are going to be able to get to those kids. And that's honestly, that has been my main focus area. The medicines they need to help treat their symptoms without making a further mess on these other licenses. If it's that important and we can treat those easily with the amount that we're putting out right now, let's be patient and look at the best way to move this thing going forward. I do think the Cannabis Commission needs to be absolved, but we ought to be real careful on how we're doing this. So that's why I'm going to vote no on this bill.
Senators yielded well. Senator from the 28th.
Thank you, Mr. President. There haven't been a bigger advocate in this chamber over the last 6 years.
Senator
for
Brass
medical
can kiss
marijuana.
my scribbles. Blue horn!
And I stand before you, and I'll be honest, I was torn on whether I wanted to come down here. Because this is a process. We all know this is a process, and it's a tough process. And the laws that we put forward 5 years ago to form this commission, we had no idea it would take this long. Had no idea. We were hoping we'd have it out within a year and a half, 2 years, and it didn't happen. And when the commission finally got their act together, and they finally put out their notice of intent to make the awards for these licenses, and yes, it was a flawed process. It was a very flawed process, and part of it was our fault because we had a flawed law. We put forward a flawed law that put forward a flawed process. And here we are again. We're not going to do it once, but we're going to do it twice. There are two flawed bills combined together that we're being asked to vote on. We heard testimony. Let's talk specifically on the hemp piece. There are small businesses out there that we are about to put out of business if we pass this. And when we talk about the medical marijuana side and we talk about why medicine's not on shelves, well, guess what? It would have been in there a year ago. We would have medicine on the shelves if these court cases were done. But they're not. They're being dragged out. They're in appeals. And that is why we don't have medicine on the shelves. There's no other reason. And it pains me to come down here and talk about this because I have friends that have applied. And I want them to get it. I wanted them to get it then, but they didn't. And now they've asked for their day in court. They have asked for a judge to make a decision. And we're taking that away. And not only that, now we're about to give standing to the next group of folks, the next group of people that filed, that applied for this. We're about to give them standing so that they can sue. So are we going to come back next year and add 20 more? Because if you watch what happened in Florida, that's pretty much what happened. Look, we spent a lot of time on a study committee to put forward a law, and a lot of that stuff was entailed. It was put into what we passed out of this chamber and what we passed out of this Capitol. A lot of that was put in. A lot of it was left out. Some of that through the Senate process and through a committee sub, when the Senate did have input, some of that was put back in. Recommendations that we had made 6 years ago from that study committee. And now they're all taken out. The Senate had zero input on this. Again, going back to that study committee, I insisted 6 years ago that it be, and no pun intended, but it be a joint study committee of both chambers, House and Senate, so that we could both have input. We were about to go to conference on this bill so that both chambers could have input. But now we've lost that, and now we have to vote on this.
We don't have to. It's so dramatic.
Again, we put a flawed law out there 5 years ago.
Oh my God!
And we've seen the issues that it has caused, and now we're about to do it 2 more times with 1 vote. It's bad policy, y'all.
Senators yielded well. I recognize the majority leader.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, I move the question.
Senators move, call the question. Is there objection? Without objection, the question is ordered. The question is on from the senator from 13 on his amendment to the Senate substitute on House Bill 196. All those in favor of his sub will vote yea. All those opposed. I recognize the Senator. To what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Isn't it true that if we vote down this motion and vote my motion to disagree, we send it back to the House and give them a chance to recede, or else to insist in us have a quick conference committee and do some sensible legislation here? Either of those two options wins. Voting yes for this loses.
That is correct in the fact that we take up your motion after we address the Senator from 13th's motion. Senator is correct. Back to the original motion. Senator from 53rd, for what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
If we do go to a conference committee, considering the late hour, and to my understanding, it has to be on our desk for 2 hours, will we have time for a conference committee?
Unless you can suspend the rules. But if you don't suspend the rules, yes, it says for 2 hours. Okay, here we go. All those in favor of the Senator's 13th amendment will vote yea. All those opposed, nay. Secretary, unlock the machine.
Nobody's voting? They're all like, we don't want to do anything. That's so weird. It's taking so long. Yes, Father Chronic. It is our human right. This is all smoke and mirrors.
Recognize the Senator from 46.
Isn't it true that a red vote here gives these children a chance to get the medicine by June?
Senator is passionate about what he speaks.
See, I knew it would pass.
The motion to only agree to the House amendment to the Senate substitute, the yeas are 28 and the nays are 26, and this motion has failed.
Wait, the motion has passed. It was 28.
Senator from the 13th, for what purpose do you rise?
Mr. President, I ask for recount, please.
Reconsideration.
Motion recount. Motion reconsider, recount.
All right. The senator has moved for reconsideration. Senator for the second, what purpose do you rise?
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. President.
State your inquiry.
Mr. President, do we not have to vote on the underlying motion before a motion to reconsider? Since there's another motion, a subsequent motion on the table?
We just did, Senator.
I meant on the disagree.
No, sir. He was reconsidering his vote on that. So those are who are the motion is for reconsideration. Those who are in favor of reconsideration will vote yea, opposed nay. Secretary, unlock the machine.
I thought it was 28 to 26, yes to no. I'm so confused.
Senator from the 20th, what purpose do you rise?
Isn't it true, Mr. President, that we're killing a lot of potential other bills with this long drug out thing on the
If the idea was to kill time, we're doing a good job of it, Senator.
I'm going to put some good energy out there for education. What was passed? I'm so confused. Oh, it was a vote to table it? No.
On the motion to reconsideration, the yeas are 27, the nays are 28, and the motion has failed. Now it goes to the senator from the 46. his motion. His motion is to disagree to the House position, but he is given time to speak in the well on this issue.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be quick since we've debated this pretty thoroughly. I think most people have been heard. Please vote with me to disagree to the House position, and let's send it back to them and see if they will either recede and accept this bill so we can make progress on medical marijuana, or if they will disagree so that we can try to have a quick conference committee, see if there's any common ground, and waive the rule if need be so that we can get something done this time. I think this is the way to go. That's a totally new bill that we weren't familiar with at all. It has a lot of new concepts, a lot of things we don't understand. Perhaps they can explain them in a conference. So please join with me to disagree to the House amendment to our bill, House Bill 196. I yield the well. Let's try to work on some other bills.
Senators yielded well. Does any other senator wish to speak for or against the measure? Chair hears none. Question on the House Bill 196. The senator from the 46 has disagreed to the House amendment to the Senate substitute. All those in favor of his motion will vote yay. All those opposed, nay. Secretary, lock the machine.
Wow.
On the passage of the motion, the yeas are 53 and the nays are 2, and the motion to disagree has prevailed.
All right.
Recognize the senator from the 56.
I don't.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adhere to the Senate amendment to the House substitute to Senate Bill 13 and a conference committee be appointed.
All right. So didn't pass. They're on to another bill now. Can you guys hear me? So do y'all want to see a little comedy video to end? Yeah. Well, they went into a committee, right? Can you guys hear me? Is the mic working? Okay. Yeah. So now they agreed to discuss it in committee, even though today's the last day of session. So I guess they're gonna have a special session for cannabis. They need to pass an education resolution so that we can give the solution to pollution. 'Cause there's so much convolution. It just needs to be free. It all doesn't matter, but it matters, but nothing matters. Right? Exactly, awakened one. Well, it wasn't exactly tabled, but it was, the substitute was disagreed with. So 196 already passed, by the way, I think, completely. Because it was voted on the Senate like a couple of days ago and they passed it. But then they decided to put in a substitute. And so, anyway. Oh, Kemp. I didn't know what you were talking about. Alrighty, you guys. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Oh, I want to show you something really quick. Okay, we're gonna end with this kind of funny thing. I was researching stuff and I found this newscast of someone confiscating marijuana from like, let me find it. Where's the link? Here it is. Okay, watch this. Hold on. This, I think it's hemp. Like there's no buds on it. You guys tell me. Y'all have more experience with non-hemp stuff. Hold on a second. Check this out.
He's confiscated and destroyed hundreds of marijuana plants.
State drug agents joined forces with local.
Can you guys see that? Yeah. Okay. All right. Look at this.
Law enforcement define weed being illegally grown. Fox 5's Denise Dillon spoke with the Haralson County Sheriff about what they found there.
If you saw a helicopter flying low across the county all week and assumed they were searching for something, Sheriff Stacy Williams says you're right. They were looking in backyards and fields for marijuana plants.
As a sheriff in this county and working in partnership with the state of Georgia and the GBI, it's illegal and we have to confiscate it.
Marijuana, there's plenty of it in Haralson County. Sometimes it's hidden in back fields. The governor's task force drug suppression unit used helicopters to crisscross the county and search fields. In Haralson County, they worked with the local drug task force agency and found plenty to confiscate.
Right now, they have collected about 400 pounds of marijuana from different areas across.
Did you see that? Is there any bud there at all? It's hemp, right?
Force agency and found plenty to confiscate.
Right now, they have collected about 400 pounds of marijuana from different areas across the county. And so that right there has been seized and there's been several arrests made. I think there's been 4 arrests made so far.
The pot plants were turned over to the GBI where they will be documented. And
Look at that. It's hemp, right? Or is it just baby bud? Yeah, I know hemp will flower, but this could, I honestly, Tom McCain was telling me they were trying to grow it for fuel at one point, and this could have been the industrial hemp, which doesn't flower. Really? You think it's just babies? Some people do grow hemp, Christopher. I've seen it. Hold on. Let's keep watching.
And destroyed. The sheriff says some have
Oh yeah, you're right. That looks like babies.
claimed they're growing the marijuana to use for medicinal purposes.
Okay.
The sheriff doesn't think so.
Georgia has come across the table and made certain parts of marijuana legal for people to use it for medical purposes, and that's fine. We totally support that. Most of the marijuana grown out here right now is to get high. It's not made for medical purposes.
The governor's task force uses aviation and ground support teams with specialty vehicles to spot marijuana patches. They assist local law enforcement agencies that often don't have the resources or manpower to conduct similar operations. This year, the task force will conduct.
Did you see how small that little cannabis patch was in the middle of that field? Wait. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter.
aerial surveillance in about 90% of Georgia's 159 counties to help eradicate domestic-grown cannabis.
That does not look like babies. Look at that. That looks big. We can get hemp seeds. We can sprout hemp seeds. I'm gonna this guy I was talking to is gonna he has seeds just for hemp sprouts, like sunflower sprouts. So, but seriously, doesn't that look like hemp? Like that's bigger. That's definitely more than a month old, don't you think? I think so. Hold on.
It's in our county, and we support it. Marijuana is illegal in the state of Georgia.
Sheriff Williams says this isn't the first time they've done
Marijuana is illegal in the state of Georgia.
this, and it certainly won't be the last. In Haralson County.
All right. Enough of that. All right. So how y'all feeling? Well, let's just pray that we can just grow our own and not worry about it. Just not if there's an HOA. But, you know, we know that the DEA has exempt religious cannabis. There are some churches growing, like Reverend Wright Gregory spoke about in testimony last year. And it is just like a tomato. I mean, you know, some people like Daniel, I'm forgetting his last name right now, but he thinks the whole illegal thing is smoke and mirrors, and it is in a certain way. And to legalize it would actually give it regulations that are unnecessary. So there's interesting conversations we can have around that. Everything happens for a reason, right? Anyway, thanks so much for hanging out on my channel with me and having a little watch party together. It was so crazy, wasn't it? It was so active, like the way they were like getting so upset about it. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Just decriminalize it. It is a waste of time to have this debate. Just decriminalize it, you know? It needs to be a free market. We need to free up the industrial side of it, you know? Yeah, thanks, Wes, for inviting everyone. Please subscribe to my channel. Please, please, please. That helps me. And if anyone wants to make a donation, that would be amazing. Even just $1 helps to fund my little studio, aka all the time I'm putting into it. I'm going to just put a donation link there. And in the description of this video, by the way, I have links to all these other videos if you wanted to see like the different hearings and all the different testimonies that our friends have done. Like Chris, he was on the news. We are so proud of him. Yeah, I'm just grabbing this link for you. If you want, that would be amazing. And thank you so much to everyone who's already donated. So amazing. I really, really appreciate it. And I know a lot of you are just donating your own time towards the cause and doing so many amazing things. So thank you, thank you, thank you for being cannabis freedom people. Yeah, Chris was on the news. We could watch that clip if y'all want before we go. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, it's true. You want to watch the clip real quick, the awakened one? That's David, right? Is there a link for session? Oh, the live session. Oh, they stopped talking about the cannabis bill. I guess it's back in the House. So I guess, let me check you know what? I'm going to put the news clip on that Chris did. And then I'm going to jump on the House. You won't be able to hear it, I hope, because it's not going to be connected to the live stream. And I'm going to see if the House is hearing the bill, because I think it's going back to the House to maybe get, I don't know what's going on, or maybe a committee's hearing it. Yeah, keep the party going. Okay, yeah, we have 8 people here, I think, at least. All right, let's go watch Christopher's clip. I have it as a description to one of the videos, so I'm gonna find that. And like I said, in the description of this video, there's links to like a bunch of videos that we've done. So check it out. Oh, and also if anyone wants to sponsor a video, if you want to get your ad in one of the videos, that's an amazing way to support the video creation too. That's cool, Christopher. I like that. Make sure you're staying hydrated too. All these EMFs. All right. I am getting Christopher's, I'm getting the you know what I'm doing. I already said what I was doing. I'm finding this thing for you. So I'm also going to put a link to my hemp news playlist. Here's the playlist of all the videos I've done. Okay. If anyone finds the 11 Alive clip before me, put it in the comments. Oh my gosh, I didn't even have my light on. Now you can see me better. I'm professional. I love how these sunglasses pull my hair out. Y'all, I feel like I've been studying for an exam in college or something. Like I've been like seriously in front of this computer for hours, like tracking this live stream all day. Okay. So I am looking for Christopher's appearance on 11 Alive. Where are you? So I put it in one of the live vids, which is linked below. So I'm going to look at the description below. And it's the video where, oh, here's the House chamber. Let me just look at that real quick. I don't know. There's so much going on. While I'm looking for it, I'm just going to play the Scribbles testimony for you guys. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves. This is a little commercial first.
Of your phone.
There it is. Hold on.
Speaker, could we hold Russ Bryant?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Aviva. Oh, this wouldn't be a hearing without you here. Do you bring a friend?
If he's gonna talk. But yeah, that's definitely metaphorical, the invisibility of me because of what I'm talking about, which is the invisibility of hemp grain. Thank you for having me, by the way. My name is Aviva Vuvuzela, and I founded the Georgia Hemp Economic Revival Organization over 10 years ago now. And Scribbles and I, we educate children and everyone about the benefits of industrial hemp, which does not include, you know, anything smokable or anything like that. And it's incredible. I mean, this one pack of hemp seeds, if you added it to your ice cream, it would make you more insulin sensitive. So insulin resistance means you might be getting a foggy head, you might be getting a little sleepy. So if you put this as sprinkles, and I think it's really yummy, then you counteract that. And so we're talking about this incredible nutrition, manganese, magnesium, potassium, omegas, every single amino acid the body needs. And so I think it's dangerous to not have this accessible to everyone because malnutrition leads to erratic behavior, disease, bouts of aggression. And I think a lot of us have malnutrition without realizing it because in the 40s, we stopped our relationship with this food. We might not have all been eating it, but our animals were. And so that meat had more omegas in it. It had more everything in it. So my issue is we have consumable hemp on the bill, but it doesn't include this. The feds have defined industrial hemp as any cannabis with less than 0.3% THC, which the Farm Bill this year is going to present 1%. We define it in this bill as anything non-consumable. So I think that's an issue with the definition if we're going to include our amazing hemp seeds and the hemp protein powder and hemp sprouts. So this is not actually hemp sprouts. I haven't started that yet, but that is also legal and that has bioflavonoids.
Thank you. We're going to move on. Appreciate you coming.
Can I say-
Hope you can come back.
Just about the processing fee. If we define the industrial hemp and other things, why can't we define a lower processing fee? Because the industrial side of hemp need, you know, cotton is subsidized even. They can't afford a high processing fee that we have.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Chairman Corbett has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And considering the number of new members we have on this committee, I think it'd be a disservice if we did not get to hear from Squiggles. I really do. I mean, they've never heard from him.
Yeah.
Representative Corbett, I love you. You are so sweet, and you're the one that can change the world by, you know, opening up a hemp fuel processing plant so we can have gasoline.
I mean, you're very talented.
Thank you so much. I did email all of you, so you have my emails if you have any questions. And Scribbles and I would be happy to put on a private show for you.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Corbett. I apologize to our committee. I didn't realize we only had an hour today when we reserved this room. We look forward to Chairman bringing this bill back. Chairman's worked hard on this, so we're going to move on, and we'll be back on Wednesday morning, I hope, with some more of that. We have our citrus industry in South Georgia is really growing. It's new and it's growing. And new Representative Chaz Cannon has a bill that I want to hear for the first time today concerning support of our commodity, our citrus industry. I know I have some of my friend Linda Savelle here all the way from South Georgia who's really been instrumental in pushing this industry down there and is a part of it. Representative Cannon, the mic is yours.
Said I have to follow Scribbles, but I guess I'll try to, Good afternoon, Chairman Dickey, members of the committee. I'm here this afternoon to discuss House Bill 545, which would provide for the establishment of a commodity commission for citrus fruits. I guess I'll be talking about a commission for hemp and cannabinoids at some point.
Over the past 18
Thanks for watching that, you guys. All right, now let's watch the 11 Alive thingy-wingy. Where is that? Oh, there it is.
We have new details when it comes to medical marijuana in Georgia. Lawmakers say they expect legal cannabis sales to start in our state in about 90 days. 11 Alive's Doug Richards tells us how lawmakers hope to fix legal loopholes before it hits shelves.
I've literally shrunk my tumor in size.
Chris Keor has chronic benign tumors that he treats with medical cannabis oil that he has to buy from California, violating federal law barring it from crossing state lines.
It's just frustrating as a patient.
Keor is among the nearly 30,000 patients in Georgia who have signed on to a medical cannabis registry but cannot buy it here legally. 2 companies are currently licensed to produce medical cannabis, chosen following a mostly secret process conducted by the state's Medical Cannabis Commission.
It's about money.
Republican Representative Alan Powell wants to lift that secrecy by subjecting the commission to the State Open Records Act. He also wants to broaden access to medical cannabis by allowing licensed growers to also sell it. He also wants to increase the number of state-issued grow licenses, but the Senate Regulated Industries Committee stripped that from Powell's bill.
This does not go that direction.
The Senate committee also eliminated the section of the bill that would completely dismantle the license-issuing state cannabis commission. Instead, the panel created a committee to study it. Powell, a lawmaker since 1989, says the bill is likely to keep changing between now and the legislature's adjournment next week.
Quite frankly, any process that takes 7 years to accomplish, when you have children and people who are medically necessity to this cannabis oil, I don't see the purpose in waiting.
There may be comfort in the usual.
All right, that was that. All right. Seriously though, have you guys ever seen them get so emotional like they were in that session? That was crazy, wasn't it? They were like little kids having tantrums in a way. All right, I'm gonna play you guys a song while we're chilling. We'll have a little dance party.
Gasoline, pretty and cosmic and smart. Gasoline, giving nature a new start. Gasoline, opening up all our hearts. Gasoline, gentle and kind, not so harsh. Gasoline, gasoline, I sing this song with my tambourine. Gasoline, gasoline, I sing this song jumping high on my trampoline. Gasoline, what the whole world can afford. Gasoline, can no longer be ignored. Gasoline, cleans the air as it's made. Gasoline, makes water clean so we can wait. Every crop helps us stop polluting our homes and where we shop, absorbing up CO2. Gasoline, oh how I love you. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. For the win. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Gasoline. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Kind of mean. Pour it in. For the win. Gasoline. It's kind of mean. Gasoline. 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 We all got that gasoline. 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 The bitches ask for gasoline. 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 We all got that gasoline. So clean. Thank you so much.
Hi. Sorry, that was so loud. All right, you want to see the other Scribbles testimony? What do you guys want to say? You tell me. Like literally, Senator Brass asked if Scribbles was a unicorn. He needs to be held accountable for such things. All right, since y'all are still here. All righty. Here we go. Y'all are awesome.
Before we share this testimony, we just want to welcome you to the Hemp Revival. Scribbles and I just wanted to thank all of Georgia and USA hemp farmers, many present at this meeting, for planting these seeds that are truly reviving our relationship, our connection to the cannabis plant, and thereby reviving so much of our lives. This is an incredible plant that not only revives our soil, our air, filtering the air with the trichomes, it filters the water, it phytoremediates, which means pulling toxins out of the land. And of course, it also revives our bodies, minds, and spiritual connection to our heart so we can express our hearts with each other even better. So with no further ado, I present March 16th, a little snippet, and you can watch the whole live stream linked below. And hopefully I'll get an edited version up of that soon as well.
Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis?
Kind of thinking we might need to have a little, maybe lighten this up just a bit. Aviva, the puppet woman, can you do your show from the podium? Doc, you don't have to pass those around. I'll put them in folders if we need to.
So I brought a handout. I'll show you what that is later in the video. I didn't realize they didn't pass them around because I thought he was telling me I didn't have to pass it around, that someone else would. And my nerves just have their own ears, right? I did run it by his assistant, Cindy West, before the meeting in room 432. You know how I love the number 432, but it's the discretion of the chairman whether or not they are given out. So if I knew he said not to pass them out, I might have been able to make a quick point to support how it would be helpful perhaps. But anyway, let's see what happens.
Go ahead and tell us your thoughts in an entertaining way, please, ma'am.
Thank you
You're
so
right
much.
in between the for and against on how you signed up. So that's why I'm picking you to sort of see what you got.
Thank you so much for having us. We have a gig in Alabama on Tuesday, so we're so happy to be able to speak with all of you
Who's we?
today.
Tell us who we is.
Oh, me and my ukulele. Scribbles is probably not going to make that one. Why not? Well, we'll talk about it later. Okay. So my name is Aviva Vuvuzela. I'm the founder of the Georgia Hemp Economic Revival Organization that's been around for 10 plus years, educating as many people as we can about what some of what our previous amazing speaker said. And we also send emails inviting as many people as we can to hearings like this with all of you amazing legislators. So get to the point, Mom. Okay. So my point today is that...
Let me just talk.
Okay.
I think that you all don't know the difference between hemp seeds and CBD.
Scribbles.
Well, what I'm trying to say is hemp food is grass.
I think it's pronounced grass.
Generally recognized as safe. And in 2018, there was a really big federal push for Americans to grow hemp food.
Why is that?
Well, we get it all from Canada and maybe a little bit of China. That's $700 million a year of imports.
Wow, that's a lot. So how much do you think Georgia spends on that?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it would help the Georgia economy if we grew some hemp food here.
That's a really good point.
And I think these legislators are just scared that it's the same thing as cannabinoid extractions.
You might be right. Has anyone here tried hemp seeds or hemp food? Do you think it'll make you high? Because it doesn't.
Do you guys eat bagels? Yes. Do you ever have poppy seed bagels? Well, those are from the opium plant, but you don't have a problem with that. Why wouldn't you have a hemp seed bagel?
That's a really good point.
Plus, my favorite food is broccoli. That has a dietary cannabinoid, beta-caryophyllene.
Wow, that was impressive, Scribbles. That's true. And the processing fee for broccoli is not $5,000 in this state. That's a really good point. So, so do you think the processing fee is limiting farmers from growing hemp for food? Because I think food is about $100 to $300 to license here. So we think it would be a really good idea to just categorize a different license for hemp food, because malnutrition is very unsafe and hemp food has so much nutrition in it. And we think
Don't forget to tell them oranges are being processed for CBD too. And also, breast milk has endocannabinoids. Scribbles.
Let's keep this. Well, it is true. We have an endocannabinoid system, and there are 2 cannabinoids that we make when we're nursing babies, and they actually help babies to be stimulated to actually suck the breast. And without those cannabinoids that we make, then that wouldn't happen. And I might have to overdub some of your thoughts with that.
Okay, it's overdub time. Get into your positions.
Well, I'm looking in the handout and I don't see anything about boobies. Who's gonna Google
You
it?
mean guagle?
I guess now we know why those are so addictive.
Right? I just got that neurotransmission too.
Boring. Wait, what does this say? Okay, add another superpower to the list.
Boobs.
Well, we can't ban them, but we can control them. So if we extract all the cannabinoids from breast milk, we don't have to legalize weed. I feel very uncomfortable right now. Very uncomfortable. And then we can administer it in a typical bottle. I think it'd be wise if I stay out of this conversation. It's making me kind of sad. But I think I'm gonna cry. I'm here for you, man. I'll get through. Oh, come on, cheer up. We're talking about. Oops, I'm crying. Is that the magic of raw milk? Great. My committee's turned into a bunch of babies. I need my mommy. I need my mommy. Me too.
Choo choo, choo choo train.
All this booby talk is giving me the munchies.
But anyway, I think that everyone knows what we're talking about now, but we have a handout, and that has education. And we think they're not to insult anyone, but Georgia has been a little backwards. So we think, why not take a step back and just create Cannabis Education Day and just educate people about everything, because that'll help us legislate.
So if you are looking at the handout, you see our proposed Cannabis Education Day, whereas
George Washington did not chop down a cherry tree, it was cherry cannabis.
whereas food is nutritious. It has magnesium, manganese, potassium, omegas, reduces cholesterol, all kinds of things on that fact sheet. We feel like we would like other people to talk, so we will bring this to a close.
We thank you so much for letting us talk so long. We know that was more than 2 minutes, and that was amazing.
And if you have any questions,
Well, I think the rules chairman, Senator Brass, has a question for you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you'll allow, I've got a question for Mr. Scribbles.
That would be just fine.
Mr. Scribbles, I've never had that attention before.
Well, I'm just curious, Mr. Scribbles. Are you a unicorn? Is that a horn? What's going on there?
Are you a unicorn?
No, is that the thing on the middle of the head? What is that?
I get a lot of knowledge. It's not like cannabis that DNA turns to the left or anything. It's just a little bit, it needs sewing, but it connects me to my planet. It's my antenna. And it's children do think I'm a unicorn hybrid of some sort, but I'm just kind of like a fragile, like puppet thing.
Follow up, Mr. Chairman.
Last question. There's other speakers in addition to Mr. Scribbles that would like to be heard.
All right.
Go right ahead.
Oh, well, just Mr. Scribbles, where exactly are you from?
Good comment
What planet? Start there.
I'm not home. I want to go home.
It's okay. It's
Well,
kind
thank
of
you for being here, Mr.
a touchy subject.
Okay.
Thank you
He
for
was
being
kind
with
of
us.
abandoned.
All right,
you.
Lisa Gano.
Thank you.
Vape Right.
I was curious.
I'm going to have time for 2 more speakers.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And anybody else
women.
come back. I'm curious if, Mr. Chairman, if all this same group testified in the House, did you have as much testimony over there?
It was a full testimony time.
Okay.
Well, not quite. You can see on my videos, only 6 speakers altogether testified. This is the second meeting, and this is our first meeting, so there was quite a difference.
This is going to be our last speaker.
I'm with Second Century Ag out of Osceola, Georgia.
The sponsor of this bill is the rep for the 169th district, which includes Osceola, Georgia.
Did you draft this bill? Or?
We just wanted to publicly apologize to all the Georgia farmers and processors cultivating hemp for lobbying to raise the processing fee to $50,000 so we can monopolize the industry in 2019.
That didn't turn out so good, did it?
No, that's why I'm apologizing.
I might have had a little input into that as well. To be fair, I might be a little to blame for that high processing fee as well. I don't know. I'm not sure.
We'll be back Tuesday at 4 o'clock. If anybody has additional information you want to submit to me, feel free to do that beforehand. If you can't be here live to testify, be glad to get as much education as possible.
Well then, Chairman Cowsert, you might be the one to sponsor my proposed legislation, the cannabis education, so that you can get so much education by hiring scribbles, myself, and other experts to truly educate not only you, but the public. And I truly do applaud you and the committee for wanting that education. I've been learning new things about cannabis every single time I talk about it with someone. It's such an incredible plant, and there's so much to learn. So don't feel bad about not knowing what you don't know, and just embrace all that new knowledge coming your way. And may you have the wisdom to do what's right with that knowledge. It is my hope and wish that through my testimony, I can inspire some of you, or all of you, or one of you to truly take leadership in treating hemp like the agricultural commodity it is, with the great economic potential for Georgia, and to support legislation by adding necessary amendments, like amending soil, to help our Georgia farmers recover from the 2020 hempdemic, and also to help them truly thrive. These people put their necks on the line and their bank accounts to bless our atmosphere and our people with the balancing qualities of cannabis. And I just want to remind you again that hemp is federally recognized since 2018 as an agricultural commodity for food and more. And those new to me and new to my channel, please do make sure you go over to the Hemp News playlist and check out our very informative documentary, Hempdemic. You will not be disappointed with the knowledge you can learn. Also, if you like this video and maybe learned something, please consider making a donation and subscribing to this team of musicians, performers, and creatives who fund the Georgia Hemp Economic Revival Organization and make these videos possible. Aviva and the Flying Penguins, please donate here. Thanks for watching, y'all. All right, what do you want to do next? What do you want to watch next? Are we, let's see. Yeah, like as soon as I start posting cannabis videos, like even my kitty cat videos, which usually get over 1,000 views, they get like 5 views. It's okay though. I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? You guys being here, you sharing the videos, inviting people, everything helps, you know. Just let me know what y'all want to do. Like I don't have to work till like, you know, I don't have to work first thing in the morning. So if y'all want to watch more videos, or we can check out what's going on in the house. Let me listen to that real quick.
80%? Dang, yeah, just donate. You know, if you donate to my Patreon, it's tax deductible too. So it's like a tax write-off. That's in the link, like in the newsletter link that I just posted. I'll just post it. This is the donation link. But yeah, I don't feel like you have to donate. You guys do so much. But if you want to buy me coffee, $10 or whatever, you can just throw that in the donation. That's a good question. Like in other states, Wesley? I mean, yeah, the DEA is trying to ban it. Let's see. DA ban. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Let me see if I can share this screen. Oh, he said just Georgia. Sorry. Well, I mean, we just saw the video, Wesley. It's just nothing yet because they didn't pass the bill. So it is what it is, you know, there's no ban on it. But let's see what's going on with the other states. Okay, so 21 states have restricted or banned it. You can see that here. That's interesting. The DEA believes it's a controlled substance. The U.S. Hemp Authority has stopped certifying Delta 8 products. And that's interesting. I don't know who the U.S. Hemp Authority is. That's just so you know, guys, like I don't work for anyone. Like just so you know, I don't work for anyone. So like I don't know who the US Hemp Authority is. It's like I've worked with Hemp History Week before, like organizing events and then they just give you like free products and stuff. But I just like being indie. Like I don't like, you know, having a boss. So yeah, so Georgia, no bills were passed on it so far at all. Like what just happened was it passed the House, but it didn't pass the Senate. So, you know, before, I mean, this is the last day of session. There could be like an emergency thing from Governor Kemp. But like, if you guys give me your emails, who's asking about the seeds? Are you still on the stream? Whoever was asking for, I forget your name. Was it Thomas or something? If you guys send me your emails, make sure you send me your emails and I'll add you to the email list. Like I send emails like every week. Like I send an email out with the stream. Like I don't just post it on Facebook. But a lot of my emails go to people's spam, so you got to check your spam also. But let's go back to this for a minute because this is interesting to know. Yeah, the vote went through for them to not vote on it, which meant they wanted to just discuss it in the committees more, but they don't have time for that. So yeah, Father Chronic. I don't know why I thought it was Thomas. Thank you. Yeah, Larry. So Larry and Wesley and like, I don't even know if you're on my email list, Christopher, but like if you guys can just, you know, Facebook message me or email me your emails. My email is on that donation link as well, I think. Yeah. So let me make sure I have your emails or email me. Let's keep reading this. This is interesting. So the 21 states that have already banned or restricted it are Alaska, California, Colorado, Kentucky, Connecticut, Colorado, and California. Isn't that interesting? You know what's interesting about California is they also limit CBD. Like you can get CBD in health food stores like you can here. Delaware, Idaho, Iowa, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan. So, I mean, it's kind of good that Georgia's kind of like the rebellious, messed up child. Like they can't get things right, and it's like in our favor sometimes. So it's fully prohibited in South Carolina. Oh wow, New York? Dang. That means you can't even like, that's so weird, that Colorado. All right, so there's that. Okay. Well, I'll put this link in the comments so you guys can check it out on your own. But got you, Wesley. Yeah, that makes sense. What else can I do you for? What else y'all want to watch? Do you want to see some of Hempdemic? Do you want me to show you the part with Senator Summers, if I could find it? What do y'all want to do? Should I? Let me see if I can message someone to find out. You know what I'll do is I'll play. Did you guys see the other? I'm like tired. I can't even talk. Okay. Should we just end the stream? Should we just say goodnight? Should we just play some lullaby music? We've covered a lot of material. Bye, beautiful people. I will definitely keep you updated when I find out what happened with HB 196. Right now, it's flying over the rainbow into a what? It's like it turned into a bunch of particles. It went into like a particle machine, and it's like in a bunch of different particles. And is it going to be released into a paper? And be clear, we don't know. You are so welcome. Thank you all for being buzzing bees. Good night. Sleep well. See you next time.